Hey now, ladies and gentlemen. Hey now, hey now, hey now, hey now. Hey now and hey now. Welcome to hour number 3 of the line. Two big things going on right now. We'll start local. Rock the South is supposed to be this weekend, John Bird. Big country music festival that was in Coleman. Moved it to Decatur. I think for the first time this year. Do you know why they moved the location?
Maybe to be a little closer to the beach.
Is that not? That's not closer to the beach.
Sure it is.
Decatur, Coleman to Decatur?
Yeah.
No, dude. That's both of those are in North Alabama.
Well, no, I thought you were talking about. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about Decatur, Georgia,
No,
which is right there on the.
no,
It's on the eastern seaboard.
no. This is Decatur.
Yeah.
Decatur, which is much further away from the beach.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. Alabama. I thought you were talking about Georgia. I'm sorry.
No, they wouldn't completely move it to a different state.
Yeah, probably. That wouldn't be wise.
No,
That's my bad.
That's fine. You're fine. They have because of the tremendous amount of rain that they've recently experienced, they have now canceled this weekend's Rock the South and are moving it to early October.
Ooh.
I think October 4th or something like that. But they're also expanding it to a 4-day festival where I think it was maybe a Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
It's now going to be, I guess, a Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, which is wild. I mean, that's good news.
I
but
guess
also,
if they're planning on if it rains a day, they'll still be able to do 3 days or something.
nah,
4 days is a long time.
it's a lot. But and they say there's no extra cost to ticket holders. But you think about people that have made plans, such as hotels and all kinds of stuff. Like, are hotels going to refund the money for people? Because hotels in that area, like, that's a once a year thing where they can be completely booked up and make some money. But at the same time, man, I've been to music festivals where it was all rainy and muddy and everything else. That's kind of exciting, honestly. I'll never forget one of the crawfish boils where it was so freaking muddy, and it was who was the headliner that particular night we were there was Live, the band Live.
Lightning crashes.
Yeah. All over you,
That's
all
right.
over me. And Cowboy Mouth was there.
Cowboy Mouth. I remember Cowboy Mouth.
Who else? I think maybe Three Doors Down. I don't remember. It was a bunch of 90s bands. And it was so muddy. I remember my buddy Opie, who had had a few beers. We were trying to get out of there. We were exhausted. And he was standing there looking at us, and we're like, well, let's go, man. Let's get out of here. And he rips his shirt off and then runs back into the middle of the crowd in this giant mud pit and just comes back.
Oh, my gosh.
I don't remember if we left him. I think we might have left him there. But I remember.
That's what friends are for.
I remember seeing him after, and he was just covered in mud from head to toe. And it was
Somebody had a good time.
Yeah, it was wild. So Rock the South, for you Rock the South people, just note that it's not going to be this weekend. So kind of sucks for people that were anticipating it, excited about
really
it.
does, and spent money to prepare for it.
But
man.
it's also good that it's not going to be scorching hot during Rock the South, because the heat would have been miserable this weekend, I'm sure.
Nice and humid and all that.
In October, it should be a little more crisp, a little nicer outside. And also, this is a story that's been going on this morning, but we didn't have any details on it as far as how or why it happened. One of our Apache helicopters went down near the Strait of Hormuz today.
Oh, no.
That's right. And the pilots were retrieved and are safe. So that's the good news. But we're now finding out that the Iranians shot the Apache down. That is not good.
Time to
That's
clean
not
house.
good. And so Trump just put out moments ago, he said, I have just been informed by our great military that last night the Iranians shot down one of our highly sophisticated Apache helicopters while patrolling over the Strait of Hormuz. There were 2 pilots involved. Both are safe and uninjured. That is amazing, by the way, that they are uninjured after that. He said, nevertheless, the United States must, of necessity, respond to this attack. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. So the question is, how does the president intend on responding? And how does that affect the peace talks? I think, most people probably look at this on paper and say that's a death sentence for peace talks. But I don't necessarily think that's true. I think there is a possibility within this that it doesn't change peace talks pending our response. Now, whatever our response may be could either kill the peace talks or accelerate the peace talks. Because if we go in there with a bombing campaign that mirrors the first bombing campaign, then that could possibly have them like, okay, please stop.
They will never give up. These peace talks were a joke. You cannot deal with Muslims, especially terrorists that are extremist Muslims. You cannot reason with them. All they want is to do as much damage as possible.
There is a lot of truth to the fact that the Iranians are not going to change their mentality and their ideology and everything else. They are living in a world where they are the ones meant to bring in the end times. Like that's their mission. It's not just going out there and killing people for the sake of killing people. It is to destroy certain groups or certain countries in order to fulfill a prophecy, right? That's what they're doing. You're not going to change their mind on that because that is their religious ideology that they will always believe in. It's thousands of years old, and they're not going to budge on that. And Donald Trump knows this. When it comes to the peace talks, though, it is just about getting them to agree to just enough to be able to make sure that they don't acquire a nuclear weapon anytime soon. Now, that is not going to stop them from chanting death to America, death to Israel, but it can keep the world a little safer for years to come if the right deal is made. Now, is that possible? I think it is, but it is a tall task. And as you see here, it is even difficult for the great negotiator. He has negotiated deals all over the world throughout his presidency, and in particular during this term. He has brokered amazing deals, home and abroad. But when dealing with these radicals, it's a different ballgame. And dealing with war in general, the 2 biggest obstacles for Donald Trump on the international side of things have been Ukraine, Russia. Again, you're dealing with, in a sense, you could consider them radicals for their own country. And then this situation with Iran, which in the big picture has only been going on for 100 days or so. But he wants to bring this to an end. And what that end looks like, we don't know. But it is going to, when it does come to an end, whatever that end looks like, it is going to be a great thing for this country and in particular for this economy. And that's what a lot of people are concerned with and the frustration and everything else is. It is going to bust this economy wide open because things are and have been put in place to create the biggest economic boom. And we're already seeing it. We're seeing record highs in the stock market. We're seeing jobs go through the roof, adding jobs month after month, beating economists' expectations, real wages going up. People are making more money. All of this is good. But for a lot of people, they don't see that because people don't dig into the numbers. So there's a lot of hesitation and a lot of sour grapes for people over the economy and thinking the economy's no good because your average person does not look past gas prices or grocery price, just everyday necessities of what they pay for. That's the one thing they look at. And it's a very, very important part of the economy and people's lives. But they don't look at anything else. But once this comes to an end, whenever that may be, hopefully sooner than later, everybody will finally see how this has all been part of a larger plan with the economy. And it's going to be a win for conservatives, liberals, independents. It's going to be a win for everybody, at least everybody that wants to get out there and take advantage of it. Everybody that wants to get out there and work. It's going to even be beneficial to fraudsters that don't get put in jail because they are now going to find their gravy train come to an end. People that have been on food stamps or welfare or whatever that could go out and work, they're going to get cut off from that stuff and they're going to be going into a job market that has more opportunity than we've ever seen in this country. There is more opportunity and more ways to make money out there, especially when it comes to not even working for somebody, working for yourself. There's so many ways to make money. You think back into John Bird, when I'm growing up in the 90s, right? In the 90s, you were in your, 30s?
Yes. I went from my 20s into my 30s.
So you're in your 30s and in the 90s, and just about your only option was to go and work for the man. You had to work for somebody. There was never, there wasn't real opportunity for somebody that, didn't have bukus of money to start a business or whatever.
The best you could hope for is a little sideline business to help supplement your income.
Yeah.
That was about it.
There wasn't any real opportunity to go out there and make money for yourself. You had to work for people. That was the only option. And the way society has changed and the way the internet has changed things, and even over the past few years with COVID and everything else, every single person has the opportunity to work for themselves or find ways to make money. I mean, even people taking advantage of welfare like EBT or whatever are finding ways to make money, as we've talked about with the people selling food on the street now. They're selling food on Facebook. People are either delivering it or having people come by their house and pick up a seafood boil and a big tin pan, or whatever. Like, the opportunities are out there, and it's unlike anything we've ever seen in the past. And so there's really no excuse to not be able to take advantage of this economy. And just to show you, I mean, this is a good indicator to understand that wages are up and the people are making money, okay? And of course, there's going to be people out there that's like, I'm not making any more money than I used to and everything else. Of course, there's going to be people out there like that, right? But I'm just, overall, a lot of people are making a lot more money. And I'm talking about middle-class Americans. Look at how people are spending their money, okay? People are spending their money on very frivolous things. It's not necessarily a good thing. It's not financially smart. But look at the stuff people spend money on. as they were talking about on the morning show a couple days ago when Spud was here, yesterday, I think it was, they were talking about Walmart having this new gimmick where you can order food order through Walmart, order food from the restaurants that are within Walmart. It's usually like a Subway or something, right? You can either add it to your Walmart order or whatever, and you pay for the delivery. You think about DoorDash, all right? People will pay $10 to get a $12 meal driven to them from a restaurant that is 7 minutes from their house, right? They'll pay $10 just so they don't have to put pants on, get in their car, and go drive to pick it up. And then on top of that, pay another $5 to tip the DoorDash driver. That's frivolous spending. That's paying almost $30 for a $12 meal, okay? And people do it all day, every day, right? People, and I'm talking about people with cars. If you don't have transportation, that's one thing. But people are spending money that is not smart, but they have that income to spend. You look at, I think about wrestling. All right, so the TKO group buys WWE. Ever since then, prices have been absolutely insane. Ticket prices are completely out of control. Concert tickets, the same way, completely out of control. But guess what? The stadiums are still full. Those venues are still full because people are buying that stuff. People are buying stuff that back in the day you'd be like, I can't afford that. People, I don't have that kind of money. But people do. People have there's money in this economy, and that is the indicator that once we get past all this, gas prices come down, and those things that are just kind of the lid, the cap on the bottle, once that cap is removed, it's going to be unlike anything we've ever seen. And people are going to complain, and they're going to bitch and moan until that happens, and that's fine. But I'm telling you, once this happens, and with what happened with the Apache helicopter, hopefully this doesn't escalate and push back our negotiations. But however this ends, it's going to be good for everybody. I know that was a long rant to explain everything's going to be all right, but everything's going to be all right. Trust the process. 205-545-9950, more of the line coming up right after this. 205-545-9950. Deep South Construction Pros. We've seen all the rain, which got Rock the South canceled or rescheduled, should I say. And it's not the only thing that could get you canceled. Or it's not, rain's not, Rock the South, not the only thing that would get canceled, is what I'm trying to say. Because of rain. Your life may get canceled because of rain. Maybe that's a little dramatic, but it can cause you a lot of problems. Because when it comes to rain in your home, your crawl space, your basement, moisture gets in there, man. Moisture gets in your basement and it sits and it soaks and it turns into mold and mildew. And then you got that weird smell down in your basement. It turns into mold, sometimes black mold. And black mold is so detrimental. Every time we get sick, Trish is a little bit of a panicking when it comes to getting sick. She's not like a germaphobe, but she is kind of like, we don't want to get sick. We don't want to spread it around. We don't want to go here. We don't want to go there if we're sick. We don't want people coming over here if they're sick. And in a lot of cases, she'd be like, I wonder if it's black mold. It can happen. It can make you sick. Deep South Construction Pros can fix that for you. 256-305-1854. That's 256-305-1854. Online, deepsouthconstructionpros.com. When you talk to them, tell them I sent you. Let's do it. 205-545-9950. Now, John Bird, earlier in the show, we didn't have any bumper music. And as we were coming back from break, you decided to just start singing a song into the mic.
trying to recreate a song.
And it was just generally something that our music would normally sound like. And so you started singing and moaning and groaning, and you put together a little ditty just right there on the spot. And then we said, you know what? We should actually turn that into a song. AI may allow us to take that sound clip and put it in the old AI machine and give us a brand new bumper song.
Yeah.
What should we call it? And you said, we'll call it Clinton the Stone Man.
Mm-hmm. And that's the name of the song, title song from their album.
Okay. And is there something, Clinton the Stone Man? Is there a backstory on that, or that just first thing off the top of your head?
No, what happened to the guys is they accidentally actually got together, and when they were going to work on the album, they had nothing prepared. So they went in and just winged it, much like I did with their song.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, fair enough. But anyway, I say all that to say you have officially put the song together.
Yes. Album cover and everything.
Okay. All right. Well, let's hear this new rendition of Clint and the Stone Man.
All right.
Clinton the Stone Man rule the world. Clinton the Stone Man love the girls. Clinton the Stone Man rule the world. Clinton the Stone Man love the girls. Clinton the Stone Man rule the world. Clinton the Stone Man love the girls.
Wow. And that was actual audio from you as well?
Yes.
Nice.
Yes, that was me in there. And then I took it and I added a little magic after the fact.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah. So I'm claiming it as my own, or at least a collaboration.
Yeah. It's Clinton Stone Man.
Clinton the Stone Man, baby.
How about that?
Available on Spotify, Apple Music, wherever you streaming services.
That's good.
Clinton the Stone Man rule the world. Clinton the Stone Man love the girls.
Yeah, I like it. I like it. The chicken lady says, I want JB to do a parody of Isn't It Ironic, but change it to Isn't It Erotic? I don't know where that comes from, but you could do that.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
Dr. Ding-a-ling is saying, Isn't it erotic?
Don't you think?
It's like lingerie on your wedding day. It's like double D's.
Let me make a little note here.
Rubbing in your face.
Isn't it erotic?
Isn't it
Chicken lady, you're a bad girl.
Yeah. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. 205-545-9950. If you like that banger, let us know, man. We got you. We got you. Tom from Pear City, who likes to cuss and shoot, he said, enough effing talk. Bomb the ish out of them now. He's talking about the Apache. And I would think there is going to be a response. It's interesting how we've watched the past few days unfold. Remember, Israel was bombing in southern Lebanon against Hezbollah terrorists. And they were doing that in response to Hezbollah firing a missile at them. And Donald Trump essentially said, listen, I'm the one calling the shots here. Y'all better cut that crap out because you're hurting our chances here. And dare I say that this shooting down of an Apache helicopter, and I'm not sure if there's reports out about what hit it, if it was a missile or I guess it would probably be a missile more than a drone, but that maybe it was a response to, you know, what had happened with Israel and Hezbollah. I don't know, but the fighting has been going on there when Israel should be taking much more of a defensive posture. At least um, that's what Donald Trump is essentially trying to tell Netanyahu is like, you know, as long as it's not overwhelming and missiles are landing in Tel Aviv or wherever, like, just knock them down. You got the Iron Dome. We send you tons of money and tons of weaponry. Use it to defend yourself while we work this out. And with that going on, that gets the Iranians or the proxy groups or whatever all up in arms. And now they're doing that because we've got a lot of assets in the region still. The blockade's still going. Iran's still losing a tremendous amount of money. They don't have anywhere to store their oil. They're in a bad position, but it goes back to what John Bird stated earlier, which was we are up against an ideology. We are, yes, we're up against radical people, but it's this ideology that is not that's not budging. But there's a source right now that says we're investigating whether Iran meant to shoot down the Apache helicopter. So there are theories out there for some reason, and they've got to have some evidence to think that this was possibly unintentional. That they are investigating whether or not that was meant for the particular helicopter. We don't know. But Donald Trump will likely let us know. If it was unintentional, maybe that's a good thing, but I still don't think it should fly, intentional or not. You know, they still should be punished. Like, you don't need to be firing missiles. And I don't know what scenario could be there in the sense of it being unintentional. It is surprising that it would happen because we really haven't seen that. We have basically dominated the airspace. And I think just to reiterate, I was just talking to somebody about this, how it looks when something like this happens on paper. For many people, they would say, well, I thought we, decimated their military and their weapon stockpiles and everything else. And for the most part, we have. But Iran's a big country. There's missiles and drones and stuff still floating throughout the country in the hands of terrorist proxy groups. And they have intention of using them. Just the other day, a drone hit, I think, an airport in Kuwait and ended up, I think, killing one or maybe killed multiple people. Several people were injured. Iran has isolated itself because of that. They have attacked their neighbors to where they've really got no friends in the region at this point. But there are weapons out there, and I can understand where on paper people see something such as this and say, well, obviously we didn't do what they're telling us they did with dismantling the military and everything else because they're still shooting weapons at us. And they are. They're firing missiles. These proxy groups are firing missiles, almost on a daily basis. But there's going to be stuff out there. There's going to be weapons out there that they have. And there may be ways that they're getting weapons brought in from other people. They're not doing it by sea. That's for sure. But there is a big possibility that weapons are being smuggled into the country one way or another. Large scale, weaponry. I doubt it, but they're getting them. They're going to be getting stuff somewhere, and that's something that's just unavoidable. It's going to happen. You can minimize it, but it's absolutely going to happen. But this effort in bringing all this to an end is a joint effort with the neighbors that they've pissed off, and we're going to have the help of Israel. And not in the sense of helping them broker the deal, because the Iranians are not going to talk to the Israelis, but for them just to chill out for a little bit. They don't know the IDF and Bibi Netanyahu does not know how to not fight, right? It's just constant fighting. It's something that's been going on for decades. That's all they know. That's their thing. They just fight. They're just constantly fighting. And again, defensive posture. They're fighting people that are fighting them. So I'm not diminishing the reason that they are fighting with these terror proxy groups, because those people want them dead. But it is all they know. And so it's probably not easy to tell them to chill out for 5 minutes. But if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Trump. Israel is not the ideal ally that we've grown up to believe that they are. I was always told growing up that, and you still hear it today, Israel is our greatest ally. Israel is probably our greatest ally in the region, although, arguments could probably be made that that's not the case. But, we have, for instance, friends in the region. Saudi Arabia can be considered a friend. Some of these other Muslim countries, they have, especially as of late, kind of come around and helped us on multiple fronts. But the term ally on a country to country category is not what people think it is, because all of these countries really spy on each other. Like when you think about a friend, like a good friend or even a best friend, you think loyalty, right? You think, oh, this is somebody that's got my back. They're not going to screw me over or whatever. That's not how it works on the international stage. The loyalty for every country is to themselves. That's where their loyalty lies. And that's where we, as the United States of America, have kind of lost ourselves along the way under leadership from Democrats through Barack Obama through Joe Biden, is they don't view the world that way. They view things as, no, we need to put other countries first. Democrats and Republicans have done that. They think that for whatever reason that we don't deserve to be at the top of the heat, and we don't need to prioritize our country over everything else. And that is the complete wrong way to go about it. You do 100% prioritize your country over every other country, no matter what, because that's what everybody else is doing. And for whatever reason, they don't understand that. And a perfect example of that is what came out yesterday about Israel. So the Pentagon raised Israel's counterintelligence threat level to critical, which is the highest possible designation that you can make through the Pentagon. And what do I mean by that? Counterintelligence threat is basically the threat from a country when it comes to them spying on you or trying to surveil you or get information from you that you don't know that they're getting, right? Basically being a, John Bird, if you're married and you get divorced from your wife and you're trying to find out information on her to help you out in court. You're going to send a PI to go, stake out at her house.
Mm-hmm.
Right. You're going to have a private investigator go watch her down the street with binoculars and try to scope it out, right? See what kind of info you can get. That's the counterintelligence deal. And so, as I think I even said this last week, Israel spies on us, all right? And if Israel's our greatest ally, that means nobody's really an ally because they have been doing that for a very long time. And this is the first time that I can ever remember that the Pentagon or any administration has openly said, hey, Israel is doing some dirty stuff over here, and we need to be aware of it. They raise the counterintelligence threat of Israel to critical, the highest possible designation over concerns that Israel is aggressively spying on top U.S. officials. In particular, they've been spying on Steve Witkoff, tapping his phones and whatever. So according to U.S. officials, the Defense Intelligence Agency issued the assessment in recent weeks because Israel is making, quote, a particular effort to surveil top U.S. officials to get information on the Trump administration's internal deliberations and decision-making on Iran and Lebanon. America's closest ally is now rated a critical counterintelligence threat, the same tier as hostile foreign powers, because it's spying on Trump's inner circle to find out whether he's going to resume bombing Iran or sign a deal. And the details on this are stunning. I'm going to read you a little bit of this when I get back on the other side. I say all that to say that Israel, as we've seen and what Donald Trump has said, are not doing us any favors in trying to bring an end to this conflict in the Middle East. Apparently, Kyle Rittenhouse is endorsing Jared Hudson for U.S. Senate, Alabama U.S. Senate. That's kind of weird, isn't it? Not that I don't know anything about Kyle Rittenhouse as of late, like what he's been doing lately. Is he a controversial guy now? I know he killed a pedo, which is a win, but you get the dub on that one, buddy. You got to do some real shady stuff to lose your lose your flair over taking out a pedo. But is that a big deal? It must be, because Jared Hudson's campaign is saying we didn't solicit that endorsement. So I don't know if that means they're trying to distance themselves from it or what, but that's why I ask, is he a controversial guy, or is this just leftist, or like, oh my God, Kyle Rittenhouse? Y'all will have to update me on that, because I legit have no idea. But anyway, let me get back to this Israel thing real quick, because I just want everybody to understand what this means. Okay, so the Pentagon. I said this was yesterday. This was really over the weekend that this story broke, but this is from weeks earlier. Raised Israel's counterintelligence threat level to critical, the highest possible designation over concerns Israel is aggressively spying on top U.S. officials, Trump administration officials. According to U.S. officials, the Defense Intelligence Agency issued the assessment in recent weeks because Israel is making a particular effort to surveil top U.S. officials to get information on the Trump administration's internal deliberations and decision-making on Iran and Lebanon. Now, another thing that makes it concerning is and I'll give EC credit. I know he called in day after day talking about this 224 bill, which is going to create a point man for the Pentagon and Israel to go back and forth on weapons development and AI stuff and whatever. Maybe this right here could possibly have them back off. It says U.S. officials already use burner phones to avoid speaking in hotel rooms when visiting Israel. Because of this assessment, a CSIS expert calls Israeli intelligence hyper-aggressive and increasingly interested in what we're up to. More on that next.